Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive with us. Today we'll be exploring, well, a pretty intriguing connection, wouldn't you say?
Definitely sounds intriguing.
Yeah, we're looking at excerpts from a video of Billy Carson, and in this video he's discussing, his book,
Right.
and presenting some thought-provoking theories about a possible link between the ancient Egyptian god Thoth and, believe it or not, Jesus.
That's a bold claim.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild. After all, we're talking about, two figures separated by thousands of years
Right.
and from, vastly different cultural contexts.
Completely.
Exactly. So let's start with Thoth. What can you tell us about who he was
Yeah.
and why he's so central to Carson's argument?
Well, in ancient Egyptian belief, Thoth, he wasn't just any deity. He was really revered as the god of knowledge, writing, and magic. Sort of a divine scribe, architect, master of mysteries.
Interesting.
Some even considered him like a mediator between the gods and humanity.
Okay, so he was a pretty big deal in the Egyptian pantheon.
Absolutely.
So how does this connect to Jesus? We're talking about, completely different religions and historical periods.
Yeah, that's right. That's where the Emerald Tablets come in.
Okay.
These are ancient texts that Carson believes were authored by Thoth himself.
Okay.
And contain profound wisdom, advanced knowledge passed down from time immemorial. He claims they hold clues to a hidden connection between Thoth and Jesus.
Hold tablets written by a god?
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds a little like a tall tale, doesn't it?
Of course, yeah. The authorship of the Emerald Tablets, it's heavily debated,
Right.
It's one of those things that tends to spark passionate discussions, among historians, archaeologists.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this deep dive, let's entertain Carson's perspective and see where it leads.
All right, fair enough. So what kind of secrets do these Emerald Tablets supposedly reveal?
Oh, well, according to Carson, they contain all sorts of mind-blowing claims.
Okay.
For instance, he says the tablets describe the Great Pyramid of Giza not just as a tomb, but as a sophisticated, multifunctional stone computer.
Wow.
And a star map. He believes it was designed to align with specific celestial events, harness cosmic energies.
A computer. That seems like a pretty advanced concept
Yeah.
for a civilization that existed thousands of years ago.
Right.
What evidence does Carson provide to support this interpretation?
Well, he points to the pyramid's precise measurements,
Okay.
its alignment with certain stars,
Mm-hmm.
the intricate internal chambers and passages, suggesting they were part of a complex system beyond our current understanding. He argues that mainstream archaeology has only scratched the surface of the Great Pyramid's true purpose.
So he's suggesting that ancient Egyptians possessed technology and knowledge
Right.
far beyond what we give them credit for.
Yeah, far beyond.
I mean, that's quite a leap.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But let's remember, we're exploring a hypothesis here, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not one agrees with Carson's conclusions,
Right.
his interpretation of the Emerald Tablets certainly pushes us to reconsider conventional views of ancient history.
Okay, so we've got these mysterious tablets,
Right.
a god of knowledge and claims of advanced technology.
Uh-huh.
But how does Jesus fit into all of this?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Carson suggests that Jesus, during the missing years of his life, those unaccounted for in the Bible between the ages of 12 and 32, may have traveled to Egypt.
So instead of just hanging out in Nazareth, he
Yeah.
was off having an Egyptian adventure.
Yeah.
What makes Carson think that?
Well, he claims that Jesus spent those years studying in Egypt, immersing himself in the ancient mysteries and esoteric teachings associated with Thoth.
Okay.
He even points to a text called the Gospel of the Holy 12
Okay.
as a source that supports this claim.
The Gospel of the Holy 12. I have to admit, I've never heard of that one.
It's not part of the traditional biblical canon,
Okay.
and its origins and authenticity are debated among scholars.
Right.
But Carson, however, believes it offers valuable insights
Okay.
into Jesus' life and teachings,
Okay.
particularly regarding his possible connection to Egyptian wisdom.
Okay. So we're venturing into some pretty uncharted territory here.
Yeah.
A non-canonical gospel, secret teachings in Egypt.
Right.
It's like we're stepping into a Dan Brown novel.
Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps. But regardless of the source's authenticity,
Yeah.
it's interesting to consider the possibility, right, that Jesus might have been exposed to knowledge and traditions beyond
Yeah.
those typically associated with his upbringing.
All right, so assuming Jesus did travel to Egypt, how does Carson link him specifically to Thoth?
Well, he starts by drawing some linguistic parallels. He suggests that the name Jesus could have evolved from Jesus, which he links to the Greek phrase, Hail Zeus. He sees this as evidence of a connection between early Christian figures and ancient deities associated with wisdom and knowledge.
So he's proposing a link between Jesus, Thoth, and even Zeus.
Yeah.
That's quite a mix of cultural influences.
It is. But remember, we're dealing with, a blend of history, mythology, and linguistic analysis here.
Right.
Carson is attempting to weave together threads from different traditions to create a new narrative.
Yeah. And I'm guessing those aren't the only connections he's making.
No, you're absolutely right. He goes on to explore similarities in the teachings attributed to Thoth and Jesus, identifying shared concepts and themes that suggest a possible intellectual or spiritual lineage.
Like what kind of shared concepts? Give me an example.
Well, for instance, both the Emerald Tablets and the Gospel of John mention a river of life,
Okay.
a concept that symbolizes spiritual renewal and enlightenment. Carson sees this as more than just a coincidence, suggesting it points to a deeper connection between the two traditions.
Okay, so we're moving beyond word origins and into the realm of shared ideas.
Right, exactly.
What other parallels does Carson draw between Thoth's teachings and those of Jesus?
Well, he points to the idea of resurrection and renewal.
Okay.
Thoth, in some Egyptian myths, is said to have renewed his life multiple times.
Wow.
Carson connects this to the concept of Jesus' resurrection, suggesting a possible influence of Egyptian beliefs on early Christian thought.
That's a pretty fascinating connection. Anything else?
Yeah. He also highlights the fact that both Thoth and Jesus refer to themselves as the Son of Man.
Right.
While this phrase can have different interpretations, Carson sees it as another piece of the puzzle, linking these two figures across time and cultures.
So he's building a case based on linguistic links, shared concepts, and even similar titles. It's like he's trying to piece together like a historical and spiritual puzzle.
Exactly. And this leads him to pose a truly intriguing question.
Okay.
Is it possible that Jesus is, in some way, a reincarnation of Thoth? Or perhaps a descendant carrying on his lineage and teachings?
Wow, that's a bold claim.
Yeah.
Is he suggesting that Thoth, the Egyptian god, was somehow reborn as Jesus?
Well, he doesn't state it definitively.
Okay.
Instead, he presents it as a possibility, inviting us to consider the implications of such a connection.
So he's leaving it open to interpretation, encouraging listeners to draw their own conclusions.
Exactly.
I like that. It definitely keeps things interesting.
It does. And that's just the beginning. He goes on to explore even more intriguing connections, delving into the mysteries of the virgin birth and the concept of reincarnation.
Okay, now we're really getting into some mind-bending territory.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll dive into those topics when we get back. Okay, so let's talk about the virgin birth.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the traditional Christian narrative, it's a pretty extraordinary concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Carson, he takes it a step further, right?
He does.
What does he say?
Carson claims that not only was Jesus born of a virgin, but so was his grandmother, Mary's mother. And he suggests that this wasn't just a, random occurrence.
Yeah.
But points to a carefully orchestrated lineage.
A lineage orchestrated by whom and for what purpose?
That's where things get a bit speculative.
Okay.
Carson links this idea of a manipulated bloodline to ancient Sumerian texts, specifically the story of the goddess Isis, creating the first human, Adamu, through a form of in vitro fertilization.
Okay, so I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Yeah.
He's connecting the birth of Jesus to Sumerian myths about the creation of humankind.
Yeah, he's looking for patterns, connections across cultures and time periods.
Right.
He sees parallels between the ancient idea of manipulating genetics to create a specific lineage.
Okay.
And the concept of Jesus being born into a divinely chosen bloodline.
So he's suggesting that there might be a connection between these ancient Sumerian practices and the events that led to the birth of Jesus. It's starting to feel like we're uncovering like a secret history here.
It's certainly an intriguing possibility.
Yeah.
And it raises all sorts of questions,
Right.
about the nature of divine intervention, the role of bloodlines and spiritual traditions, and the potential for ancient knowledge to influence later events.
This is definitely pushing me to think about these stories in a whole new light.
Yeah.
But let's move on to another controversial topic that Carson brings up: reincarnation.
Okay.
He claims that Jesus actually taught reincarnation despite its absence in mainstream Christianity, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So what's his reasoning there?
He argues that the concept of reincarnation was deliberately suppressed by early church leaders.
Okay.
Because it threatened their authority, basically. He believes that if people believed in multiple lives, they wouldn't be as dependent on the church for salvation.
So he's saying that the church essentially edited out a core teaching of Jesus to maintain its power and control. That's a pretty bold accusation.
It is.
What evidence does he offer to support this claim?
He points to certain biblical passages, particularly from the letters of Paul in Corinthians and the book of Malachi, which he interprets as hinting at the concept of reincarnation. He argues that these verses have been mistranslated or misinterpreted over the centuries.
Reinterpreting biblical verses to support a theory that's not widely accepted within Christian theology. It's definitely, it's a controversial approach. But I can see how it would appeal to those who are seeking alternative interpretations of religious texts.
Absolutely.
And Carson doesn't stop there.
He doesn't.
He goes on to draw a connection between reincarnation and a very unexpected source, the Matrix.
The Matrix?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the sci-fi movie.
Right.
How on earth does he connect reincarnation to a film about simulated reality?
It all comes down to the word matrix.
Okay.
In the Bible, the word matrix can refer to the womb, the place of birth.
Right.
Carson links this to the idea of being born again, both literally and spiritually. He sees a parallel between the concept of escaping the simulated reality of the Matrix and the idea of breaking free from the cycle of death and rebirth through spiritual enlightenment.
Yeah, I'll admit that's a pretty wild connection.
Yeah, it's out there.
But it's also kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
He's taking a word from ancient scripture and giving it a modern pop culture spin. It makes you think about the concept of rebirth in a whole new way.
Exactly.
Carson is very good at weaving together seemingly disparate threads, connecting ancient wisdom to modern ideas in ways that are both thought-provoking and entertaining.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about Thoth, the Emerald Tablets, the Great Pyramid as a potential ancient computer, Jesus's missing years in Egypt, the virgin birth, reincarnation, and even the Matrix.
It's a lot.
It's enough to make my head spin.
Yeah, I know, right?
But amidst all these fascinating theories and connections, there's one more intriguing aspect of Carson's argument that we need to address. The idea of a shared mission between Thoth and Jesus.
Okay.
So they weren't just connected through like lineage or shared concepts, but also through like a common purpose.
Yeah, potentially.
So what was this mission they supposedly shared?
Well, Carson argues that both Thoth and Jesus were driven by a desire to spread knowledge and enlightenment, to uplift humanity and guide us toward a higher understanding of ourselves and the universe.
So they were both, in a sense, teachers, mentors, or even prophets, trying to awaken humanity to its true potential.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
And Carson takes this idea a step further.
Okay.
He suggests that Thoth, as the god of knowledge, was responsible for sending out emissaries to spread civilization and wisdom across the globe.
So like ancient missionaries spreading Thoth's teachings to different parts of the world.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he points to similarities between ancient sites around the world, pyramid structures, astronomical alignments, and shared myths as evidence of Thoth's influence on various cultures.
So we're talking about a potentially global network of knowledge and influence stretching back thousands of years, all stemming from Thoth. It's almost like we're tracing the roots of a primordial wisdom tradition.
That's how Carson presents it.
Okay.
He sees Thoth as a central figure in the dissemination of ancient knowledge.
Right.
A figure whose teachings may have influenced the development of various religions and spiritual traditions, including, potentially, Christianity.
Okay, so if Thoth was, spreading knowledge worldwide for centuries, if not millennia, did his teaching somehow pave the way for the arrival of Jesus and the rise of Christianity? Is that what he's getting at?
That's the question he's posing.
Okay.
He's suggesting that there might be a direct line of knowledge from ancient Egypt and Sumeria to the teachings of Jesus.
Okay.
A hidden thread connecting these seemingly disparate figures and traditions.
It's a bold and compelling proposition.
Yeah.
But as with all of Carson's theories, it's important to remember that we're dealing with interpretations, connections, and speculations, not hard historical facts.
Absolutely. It's up to each listener to decide how much weight they want to give to these ideas.
Right.
To weigh the evidence and to draw their own conclusions.
So let's try to pull all of this together. We've got Thoth, the Egyptian god of knowledge, who supposedly wrote the Emerald Tablets, revealing incredible secrets about the Great Pyramid and the potential for immortality.
Right.
He might even be the same deity as the Sumerian god Enki.
Right.
Then we have Jesus, who may have spent his missing years studying in Egypt, potentially tapping into the same wisdom traditions associated with Thoth.
Yeah.
And we have these intriguing parallels between their teachings, including the concept of the river of life. And the idea of resurrection or renewal. Right. Not to mention the linguistic connection between the names Jesus and Zeus, which raises questions about the true origins of the name. We associate with Christianity's central figure.
That's a good point.
Right. And we can't forget about the mystery of the virgin birth. Not only for Jesus, but potentially for his grandmother as well.
Right.
This connection to ancient Sumerian tales of in vitro fertilization suggests a carefully orchestrated bloodline, perhaps even a deliberate manipulation of genetics to produce a specific lineage.
Interesting.
And then there's the idea that Jesus might have actually taught reincarnation, a concept that was later suppressed by the church to maintain control over its followers. And to top it all off, we have this potential shared mission, this drive to spread knowledge and enlightenment, which Carson sees as linking Thoth and Jesus across time and cultures.
It's quite a story he's woven together.
It's a lot to digest, I know.
It is. But
what I find so compelling about Carson's approach is that he's not afraid to challenge conventional thinking, to connect seemingly unrelated dots, and to invite us to consider alternative interpretations of history and religion.
I think that's a really great point.
It's like he's giving us permission to be, like intellectual explorers, to venture beyond the well-trodden paths of accepted knowledge and to seek out our own understanding of the past.
Exactly.
And that's that's a powerful thing.
It is.
It reminds us that history is not static or absolute.
Right.
It's a dynamic and evolving story shaped by those who tell it and those who interpret it.
I agree.
So even if we don't, subscribe to every theory Carson presents, we can still appreciate his willingness to push boundaries, to connect seemingly unrelated ideas, and to, spark our own curiosity.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of a deep dive like this. It's not about dictating answers, but about inspiring questions, about prompting us to delve deeper, to research further, and to engage in, meaningful conversations about our collective past.
It's like we've been handed a set of keys to unlock hidden chambers of knowledge, to explore, uncharted territories of thought.
And those keys are not meant to be kept hidden away. They're meant to be shared, to be used to unlock new doors of understanding for ourselves and for others.
So if Thoth and Jesus are connected, either, directly or through lineage, what does this reveal about the true origins of major world religions? Are we looking at a single source of ancient wisdom that has been fragmented and reinterpreted over time?
That's a great question. It's something that I think each listener has to kind of grapple with on their own. There are no easy answers, no definitive proofs. But the journey of exploration, the process of questioning and seeking is itself a rewarding endeavor.
I agree with that. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Our deep dive into the potential connections between Thoth and Jesus.
Fascinating stuff.
We've explored ancient mysteries, challenged traditional narratives, and opened our minds to new possibilities.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
Remember, the quest for knowledge is never ending.
Right.
Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep seeking those hidden connections that bind us to the past and illuminate our present. And who knows, maybe someday we'll unearth that final piece of the puzzle that reveals the true nature of this ancient and enduring mystery.
Until then, keep diving deep, keep those minds open, and never stop asking questions.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
You never know what you might discover.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. So where does this leave us? I mean, we've uncovered all these like mind-blowing connections, but still don't really have a definitive answer to the question, right? Is there a connection between Thoth and Jesus?
Yeah, and that's okay. Maybe the point isn't about finding all the answers,
right?
But rather engaging with these ideas and opening our minds to new possibilities.
Yeah.
It's like we're assembling a giant puzzle with pieces scattered across, time and continents.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
We might not have the complete picture yet,
right?
But each piece we uncover kind of adds to our understanding and sparks new questions.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's through that process of questioning and exploring and connecting the dots that we, deepen our appreciation for the complexity of history, religion, human thought.
So what can we take away from this this whirlwind tour of ancient mysteries, religious figures, and mind-bending theories?
I think the most important takeaway is that we shouldn't shy away from challenging conventional narratives.
Right.
Billy Carson's work, whether we agree with it or not, encourages us to think critically, to question assumptions, and to consider alternative perspectives.
Like he's giving us permission to be like, intellectual explorers, right? To venture beyond those well-trodden paths of accepted knowledge.
Right.
And to seek out our own understanding of the past.
Exactly.
And that's, that's a powerful thing.
It is.
It reminds us that history is not static or, absolute. It's, a dynamic and evolving story.
Yeah.
Shaped by those who tell it and those who interpret it.
I agree.
So even if we don't, subscribe to every theory Carson presents, we can still appreciate his willingness to push boundaries, to connect those seemingly unrelated ideas and to, spark our own curiosity.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of a deep dive like this.
Yeah.
It's not about dictating answers.
Right.
We're about inspiring questions.
Yeah.
About prompting us to delve deeper, to research further, and to engage in, meaningful conversations about our collective past.
It's like we've been handed a set of keys to unlock, hidden chambers of knowledge to explore uncharted territories of thought.
And those keys are not meant to be kept hidden away.
Right.
They're meant to be shared, to be used to unlock new doors of understanding for ourselves and for others.
So if Thoth and Jesus are connected, either directly or, through lineage, what does this reveal about the true origins of major world religions? Are we looking at a single source of ancient wisdom that has been fragmented and reinterpreted over time?
This is a question that each listener must grapple with on their own, really.
Right.
There are no easy answers, no definitive proofs.
Yeah.
But the journey of exploration, the process of questioning and seeking is itself a rewarding endeavor.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Our deep dive into the potential connections between Thoth and Jesus.
It's been a fascinating one.
It really has. We've explored ancient mysteries, challenged traditional narratives, and opened our minds to new possibilities.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. It has.
Remember, the quest for knowledge is never ending.
Right.
Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep seeking those hidden connections that bind us to the past and illuminate our present.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll unearth that final piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
That reveals the true nature of this ancient and enduring mystery.
Until then, keep diving deep, keep those minds open, and never stop asking questions, everybody.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
You never know what you might discover.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.